So on the show, we've been talking about the Sheldon protests, which have occurred in Portland. Wow, let's go here. So we're going to bring in a participant, somebody who's actually there, to kind of talk about what's going on. We've been watching videos, we've been watching media, so we figured it's probably important to talk to somebody who was there to see what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and cut to Elizabeth right now. Hey, what's up?
Hey, can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound perfect. So yeah, I can hear you
Awesome.
fine. So if you wanted to say, like, you were at the Sheldon protests.
Right, I was one of the 13 climbers with the Greenpeace portion of the action.
Okay.
So, part of that 40 hours hanging off of a bridge, along with kayaktivists in the water. It's not the first of these kinds of protests either.
Yeah.
We had similar protests and kayak actions up in Seattle earlier.
Yeah, so then these protests are particularly trying to disrupt the ability for Shell to do Arctic drilling, right?
Right, so every hour that we could keep the Fennica in port is an hour that no oil drilling can happen because the Fennica carries an oil cap. So it's not just any drilling ship, it's the ship that has to be within an hour of any drilling operation before they hit the layer in which oil would be.
All right, so she has dropped out. So again, we're talking to Elizabeth, who's one of the 13 climbers who was stopping the Fennica for getting out to drill for more Arctic oil. Here's Elizabeth now, who's just talking about how the Fennica had a cap on it that they need to be by the well or where they're doing the drilling or to stop in case there's a spill. And I think that's pretty much how it breaks down. So, with this action, is this part of like a or like a wider organizing against sort of fossil fuel extraction in general?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. The people who were part of this action weren't just Greenpeace folks. A lot of us work with Earth First around the country. I work with Mountain Justice, which was working to end mountaintop removal in Appalachia. People are coming to this from all over the country with the idea that all extractive industries are causing global warming, causing climate chaos. And we really need to be on the front lines to stop as many of these operations as possible. And if that means putting our bodies on the line directly, then we're ready to do that.
Do you think that um, there's sort of an increase in people who are stepping or not stepping or moving up or however you want to say that to do actions like this? Because we've been covering a lot of climate news and it's usually pretty dire, pretty like wow this is terrible, and so stuff like this happens. I'm like, oh, someone's trying to do something that's nice. I'm just trying to wonder if there's more of that.
Yeah, so I think this action in particular, and for people who are watching the news who saw just the kayak and canoe and kayak swarm at the end of that action in sort of a last ditch effort to stop the Fennica, I think there are a lot of people who have hit that tipping point where they're ready to step up, they're ready to be courageous, and they're ready to do something different, anything it takes. So for us, this wasn't like a symbolic action. It wasn't just a, hey, let's get this message out here. It was direct action. Every hour we were up there, the Fennica was paying, well, Shell was paying $2,500 an hour to not drill in the Arctic. So
Yeah.
we're ready to do it. We're ready to cost them money and make it unattractive to do extraction.
What So you're saying that you feel like there's more people who are willing to like to take direct action to kind of disrupt the sort of the ease of
Mhm.
being able to go out and do these things, at least for the permanent ease. I don't know if we want to talk about that. Really, what I want to ask is what you said there was like a breaking point or something that pushed the
Sure.
person over, or not push them over, but got someone to do at least something with their body. What was that for you? Like,
Yeah.
what was the thing that brought you to like now I need to go drop and rappel off this rope to stop this boat?
I mean, for me, I think it was years ago, and it's sort of been an accumulation. My my dad worked in environmental regulation in the state of Colorado for mining. So I've seen what trees look like when they take up heavy metals because they're being placed on top of the slag heaps, what's left over after a mining operation, and it's so acidic and it's so heavy metal laden. And trees look like they're from outer space. They turn all sorts of weird colors. And I moved to Appalachia a few years back and saw the devastation of mountaintop removal, mountains that are just gone. And I guess my thought at that point was it doesn't matter if I'm in prison or if I'm free or if I have a nice middle class, well paying job. If we destroy the planet, nobody can live on it.
That's right. So that's like
So
a
that
job
that
for
was
the dead
my
planet.
tipping point. Yeah.
Well, that yeah, that sounds. I mean, that sounds like a journey. What I mean, for people who are out there who may feel like similar to you, or feel like they want to do something else than what they're kind of used to, which if you're in the activist world, I feel like you fall kind of into like the protests, petition, march, like the march petition. Like you march somewhere to hear about a petition, then you march somewhere else to hear about a petition. And so when someone gets tired of that, like what do they do? Like where can they go? If you think.
Um, so I think the petition folks are important. Um, those of us who are on the direct action side, those of us who are blockading, we're really pulling that that far edge so that people who do the petitions and who do the letters to the editor can be the rational center. But for people who are done petitioning and think marching isn't enough, find your local Earth First group. Talk to Greenpeace folks. Start with Sierra Club and see who you meet who seems like they're a little more out there and use them to get in touch with folks who are from Rising Tide or from the Keystone XL tar sands blockades. There's a lot of people out there. It's just finding a group. And there are so many groups. You can start locally wherever you're at.
I guess this is maybe one more question. So what,
Uh-huh.
like taking direct action, like what does that feel like? Like what does that feel like for you, or what do you think you would tell someone that would like feel like, I guess, compared to, other things?
Um, so I think the initial hesitation, because it's so different from what we do on an average day, is higher. But I will tell you the payoff, when we stared down the Fenneca and they turned around that morning, like the payoff of that, the knowing that you've done something that is going to make international change happen, is so incredibly worth it. So I'd say that first hurdle, getting over your nervousness, is bigger, but it's worth it. And you will build a community of people who you love and trust and who are in it with you for the duration.
All right. Well, I don't know if I don't think I have any more questions. I think that was great. I'm really excited about the Sheldon protests. I was watching them like from the inside. I was upset because I've been following a lot of like climate news, kind of like unrest. And I wanted to get there because I've never been to the
Right.
Northwest, but I didn't get to get there. But I wasn't. I mean, there were so many people there. It was incredible to watch and to see people like kayak out after the people who are arrested on the ropes. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, so
Yeah.
really, really great ups to you. Thanks for coming on the show. This is Elizabeth. I don't know if I even caught your last name. I don't know if you want to share it with
It's
folks.
Elizabeth Mount.
Elizabeth Mount. And I
Mount.
thought, is there do you have like a Twitter feed or anything or any sort of social media you want to share if somebody wants to contact
I,
you?
Yeah, my Twitter is chalice_chica.
Okay. Chalice
Um,
underscore
so
Chica.
that's an easy way to follow, see if anything exciting is happening in the world. Um, and I'm on Facebook, but I don't usually friend people who I haven't met.
Yeah.
So Twitter's
All right.
probably the best way to get in touch.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Did you have any last words for people who might be like listening or wondering about direct action or anything like that?
Yeah, I think this actually technical. It can be sort of overwhelming and scary for people who don't think that they have the skills. But all of those banners we made had to be painted by somebody. Every every single thing had to be sewn. If you have those kinds of skills, that's an amazing thing. Like everybody has some skill that can be put to use in a direct action. If you can't put your body on the line, you can still give something. So not everybody has to do the same thing, but everybody can do something.
All right. Awesome. Thanks so much for those words, and thanks for coming on the show. Looking forward to following up with anything that goes on in the future, and I know I'll be watching. So thanks again. All right. That was an awesome interview. I hope everyone enjoyed it.